Shabbat Shalom one more time, and the parasha that we're talking about this morning is Parasha Bo. And I subtitle the parasha of this morning as the danger of assimilation. Danger of assimilation. What is the meaning of assimilation? Assimilation is, it is when a group of people or a nation is being taken control of by another nation. You see, the danger of assimilation. We can see now in our land that majority of the Hebrew people, they be assimilated into the Western society, into the American society. You see, and it is very, very sad. Why? Because most of us that call ourselves the Hebrew people, or that call ourselves the people of Israel, we allow ourselves to be what? To be assimilated into the society. Remember, the Lord God said that Israel is a what? It's a lonely nation. It cannot mix. It's not. It can't. It's a solitary people. These are people that are alone on their own. They cannot mix. But we, I say, no, God. No. I want to mix. Why do you want to mix? When God says you cannot mix, but you say, no, I have to do what? I have to mix. And this is where the danger is. When you forget, and the danger of assimilation is that you forget about your God and you take another God. That's the problem. You forget about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and you begin to worship other gods. That is the danger of assimilation. And from the beginning, this has been, and God is saying, you shall not do that. Parasha Bo, danger of assimilation. You will then be able to confide to your children and grandchildren how I did fearsome acts with the Egyptians, and how I performed miraculous signs among them. You will then fully realize that I am God. Exodus chapter 10, verse 1 and 2. You see what God is telling us here? He said, you will confide to your children and to your grandchildren how I did wonderful and great things in Egypt. Then you will surely realize that I am God. You see, in this parasha, God is killing two birds with one stone. God is killing two birds. I mean, bird is, what is bird in French? Oiseau. God is killing two oiseaux with one stone. How? Because God is telling the Egyptians that He is God. He's showing them that all the gods of Egypt are just idols. They can do nothing. They have no power. And God is showing the Israelites at the same time, the Hebrew people, that He is their God, the God of their fathers, the God who saved them, who delivered them, who is going to bring them out of the land. So God is showing the Egyptians, your God, Pharaoh, that call himself God, is no God. He's a human being like you. You know, he's just cheating you. He's just Pharaoh is a man that just showing you some magic. He's a human being. He has blood. He has flesh. He's not a God. And God is telling the Israelites that I remember my covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I've come to do what? To execute my judgment. So this is what the acting that God is acting here now. He took 10 plagues to teach Pharaoh a lesson, but the last 3 taught us something as well, a lot of things. But in this week we are going to look at some 2 or 3 or 2 out of these 3 last plagues that God taught the Egyptians. Number 1, both begins in a midrash. Understand? I said what? Midrash. It begins with a midrash. Okay, it's not in the Torah. I said midrash. Don't get me wrong. It begins with a midrash. Okay. Later taught us by a biblical commentator who is Rashi. Rashi said it was during the 9th plague of darkness that the Egyptians finally realized to understand the power of God. The darkness was palpable, so much so that the people were afraid to even move. They can't move. They were literally paralyzed by fear. No one moved for 3 days in Egypt. Now, what is Rashi saying? Rashi is telling us that the ninth plague, which is the plague of darkness, this is not just an ordinary darkness. You know, like in darkness, when it's dark, you can still move. You know, you can move, that there is no problem. But sometimes when it's dark, when we up all the light, our eyes begins to adjust, and you can see a little bit in darkness. You can see, right? You can move. But the Torah said this darkness that God is talking about is a different kind of darkness. It's a darkness that you can feel. You can touch it. It's a different kind of darkness. It's not the one that you can move. This one, you can't move. People were afraid to the core of their beings. And God is using this as something. And we're going to see why God is using it. It's a kind of cover. It's a kind of coverage. God is using it to cover something. And let us see why God is using it to cover something. Yet as terrible as this plague was for the Egyptians, it was far worse for the Hebrew people. Far worse. For the darkness that was created was part of a divine plan to conceal the death of 4 out of 5 of all the Hebrew in Egypt. Or, to put it in more bluntly, and to use a bit of math, if 2 million or 3 million Hebrews survived this plague and ultimately left Egypt, then during the plague of darkness, 8 to 10 million Hebrews died. More Hebrews died during the plague of darkness than any of our history. Can you imagine that? It was a divine plan. It's a midrash, okay? It's a divine plan, according to Rashi, that God caused this darkness to cover up the death of the Hebrew people. Why did they die? Because they were stubborn. Why did they die? Because they refused to obey. Why did they die? Because they think, you know, I have my building, I have my business, I have my $1 million in the bank, I have the New York bank. It's my bank. I have all my gold down there, and you want me to leave New York? I'm not going to go. I'm not leaving New York, because all New York business is under my control. And now you want me to leave everything, abandon it, and go into a desert. Are you out of your mind? What is Moshe saying? I'm not leaving nothing. That is where the problem is. God has said, leave, pack your load, go out. Egypt is not your home. It is time for you to leave. And many Hebrew people, because they are business minded, they say, I am not leaving, I'm staying here. These men, these people, they've been assimilated into the Egyptian society. Their wives are Egyptians, their children are mixed. They give them title in Egypt. They are great, they are lords, there are all kinds of titles, big titles. So why should I leave all this yummy? Egypt is yummy. Why should I leave it and go to a desert and live in a desert where there is no house, nothing? No, I ain't going nowhere. And that is why they die. Those that refuse, they die. But the common men, can you see? Watch, the common men, the people that we call common people, you know, they are not educated. They are nobody, they listen. But those ones, the so-called educated, the so-called business elite, they refuse to obey. And they face the consequence of their own actions. The Torah is saying, and why do they die? It was a punishment. Rather, we will say it's a punishment. It is a consequence of their own action. Remember, I told us many times, God does not punish nobody. No. God doesn't have time to be punishing you. You punish yourself. God does not punish nobody. You punish yourself. Because I told us many times, God said, leave. And you said, you don't want to leave. Then you face the consequence of what? Right? That is it. So don't come and say, God punish me. God does not punish you. You punish yourself because you have been warned. God warned you to leave. You said you don't want to leave. Okay. What the consequence will be, you face it. Right. So, the Hebrew refused to leave Egypt. They had become too assimilated, too comfortable, too unwilling to accept and or to participate in the reality and the responsibility of a Hebrew life. That is a lesson. Remember, to be a Hebrew man, Ivri, is a responsibility. It is not, oh, you know, I'm an Israelite. No! To be an Israelite is a responsibility. Because God has chosen you to bear the light. You are the light to the world. And it's a responsibility for you to hold the light. As we are the light to the world, we have to behave in a certain way, whereby the people of the world can see and see, yes, these are the people of God. If we behave like the people of the world, or if we behave even worse than them, what is the difference? No different. Because I can say, you know what? I'm not an Israelite, but I behave more better than an Israelite. And it's a shame in the name of God. So to be an Israelite is a responsibility in the first place. It's not just to be proud. No, but to be humble, because it is a responsibility. And we can see that most of our people, they got too much assimilated, too much comfortable, right? Everything is nice, everything is funky. They have mansions in Egypt, big houses, right? That are maybe 10 meters high, you know, in their sitting room. Everything is decorated with gold. Why should I leave that and go and live in the desert where there is nothing? You see, I give myself as an example. I always use myself as an example. My wife, she's not of the Hebrew descent, right? She's French. But we need to understand one thing. Here is the point. The point is this, that a woman decided to say, I'm going to marry a man. And from the beginning, I make it clear to her. If you want to be my wife, you have to serve my God. If you want to be my wife, you have to be an Israelite like me. But if you don't want to be my wife, then you can pack your load and leave. Because me, I will not go to the other side. It's a choice. You want? Okay, you stay with me. If you don't want, bye-bye. No problem. God will give me another one. And you say, no. I agree. I convert. I will come to your side. Just like Naomi. What's her name again? Ruth. Thank you, Ruth. Ruth and Naomi say Ruth and so Ruth came back. Okay, your God shall be my God, right? And Ruth became the great grandmother of David Hamelech, right? Because she decided to say, okay, I'm going to on this side. I'm going to stay on the side of God. So this is the same thing I did with my wife. I said, want to be my wife? No problem. But you stay with me. This is the tree, because in every family we must have a tree. The Torah is a tree of life. And the Torah is a tree that is in the center of a home, the center of the family. We surround that tree. Everybody has to surround that tree. But if you don't want to be part of that tree, pack your load and leave. Don't waste my time, and I won't waste your time. Why are we wasting each other's time? So this is what I'm talking about. Where a man, and we can see this problem also, even though among our kings. We can see that King Shlomo fell because of this sin of assimilation. Because he married too much wife and began to serve the gods of his wives. You see the problem. So God is telling us there is a very great threat in assimilation. As a Hebrew, we can't do that. We are solitary people. Solitary people meaning a person that cannot mix. If other people want to come and join us, we accept them. Come and join us. Our problem, but we cannot mix with them. No, you can't. But we can bring them to us, and we continue as a people of God. And we can see that in today's Parshas. When they left Egypt, they all left. There are a lot of people, Egyptians, a lot of other races that left with them. So let's see quickly. Well, the Hebrew who are intermarrying tend to be more assimilated to begin with, And the majority of our people now are the people who are in the forefront of the so-called world liberalism, because they have become assimilated. Many Hebrew people, many Jewish people are the people in the forefront of the so-called liberalism. You know, this liberal world. You know, this so-called woke ideology. This so-called what do you call it? This system where a man can live with a man. This system where a woman can live with a woman. And they tell us it is good. Majority of those organizations who support this LGBT queen or whatever they call them, most of the people that are supporting them with money are Jewish people. Pumping money. And now you wake up and you think, do they read the Torah? Is that what the Torah said? How can you be proud? How can you say that a man can live with a man and a woman can live with a woman and people can become transgender? No, this is not what the Torah said. Right? We cannot accept that because the Torah of Moshe told us or is telling us another thing. And why you are doing the opposite. Right? We are the one who encourage or who is encouraging all this woke ideology, all this cancel culture. Now it is even a sin. I'm telling you, it's even a sin for a man and a woman to hold hands on the street. They look at you. What is going on? Are you cuckoo your head? How can you hold the hand of your wife? It doesn't make sense. But when a man and a man will hold hand and a woman hold hand, hey, they are happy. It's not very soon it is becoming a sin for a woman and a man to hold hand, because they look at you as if you are outdated, as if you don't belong to this planet. That is the idea now, you know, because they want to cancel all the traditions, all the cultures of our people. They say no, you can't do that. That is old things. Don't do it again. It doesn't make sense. These liberal Jews jumps into the darkness of Egypt instead of them to continue in the light of the Torah. They prefer the darkness than the light. So, what happened during the exile in Egypt? Basically, the same thing that is happening in the exile of America today. Millions of Hebrews disappeared in the darkness. They vanished because they were too assimilated, too comfortable in the darkness, and too uncommitted to survive in the light of the Torah. These Jews, they are too assimilated, they are too comfortable, they cannot survive in the light of the Torah. They can't, because their action is evil. What they do to get money, to get fame, to get wealth is evil. So if they put the light of the Torah in their life, it becomes disgusting. They are full. And they don't want that. They don't want to see themselves in the light of the Torah. So they prefer to stay in darkness. Because in darkness, they think that they're comfortable. You know, nobody will look at me, nobody will see me because I'm hidden. But remember, in the eyes of the Holy One, blessed be He, you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. For God will smoke you out one day. We need to understand that. Just like the way God destroyed those ones they were too comfortable in Egypt, the same thing is going to happen. The same thing. History does repeat itself many times. So, but those who did remain, the strong and the committed minority, were the ones who took the lesson of our faith into their homes. They marked the doorposts of their homes not from the outside but from the inside. To them and to us, Judaism was something that one lives and not just to observe. Judaism was the family. Judaism is the children. Judaism is the teaching. Judaism is the learning. It's not just blah 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 blah. No! Because most of us we do blah 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 blah, but we don't want to live the life of the Torah. We only read it like a novel. Read, and we can quote all the parts of the Bible. We can quote all the parts of the Torah, but live the life of the Torah, no. It's too difficult. It's a deficit. It's too hard. It's not hard. The Torah is not hard. I keep on saying, if God knows that if Torah is hard, God will not give us the Torah in the first place. But God knows that the Torah is not hard. It's a little load that we can carry. And that's why God gave it to us in the first place, so that we can carry it. The Pesach offering is the first ordinance bestowed upon the entire community of Israel by the Holy One, blessed be He. We can trace our back as a nation back to the darkness or to the dark forbidden night, our very last in Egypt. The next morning, Israel as a nation will step out into the stage of the world history. While the 10th plague befell Egypt, decimating our population, Israel passed from the dark winter of bondage to the springtime of nationhood and to the freedom of the Holy One, the Torah. Blessed be He. What am I saying? It was in that night of darkness, that the nation, the first time they called the people, the first time in the Torah, they said the nation, the people of Israel went out of Egypt. Remember, before they were just one individual tribes, but it was that night, the night of freedom, that the Torah said the people of Israel as a nation, it went out of Egypt as a nation, not as an individual, but as a group of people, a nation. So we need to understand that Israel is born, or Israel was born from what? From pain. So from pain. God, who were cool, who were bind together, who were joined together from the furnace of Egypt, from the fire of bondage, from the fire of slavery, as a people, as one nation. So we cannot come and be proud. No, there is nothing to be proud about. It is about not to say, oh, I'm Hebrew, I'm a Jew, no. It is not ego. There is no ego. Because you didn't save yourself, but the Holy One, blessed be He, who saved us. It wasn't the army. There was no army. There was no rocket. There was no ballistic missile, right? There was no drone, right? There was no predator drone. No. There was no hell of, I don't know, any kind of weapon. No bazooka, right? But the hand of God. So what will make me to be proud? Nothing. I'm only proud in my God, because I didn't use the missile or intercontinental ballistic missile or the ICBM to save myself. Not atomic bomb. No, there was no bomb, but the hand of God. It was God that saved me. So I am proud in God, not in a man, but in God. We are a nation born in slavery, as I said, a sovereign fact that places any subsequent achievement into the correct perspective. Humility. Humility always. Humility. A proud man, God despises. The humble man, God raised up. That is it. It's all about humility. That we are saved by the hand of God. More than anything else, the Holy One, blessed be He, did it. It is not me. I didn't do it. It is not by my power, neither by my strength, but by the glory and by the power of God. There was no army. None. Zero. There was no tank. No, there was no tank. Right? There was no missile, as I said. But the creator of the universe did it with all his power. Just as our ancestors longed for freedom from the Egyptian bondage, we also long for true freedom. The true freedom is not the negation of subjugation and slavery. In whatsoever form it may manifest itself, but the willing acceptance of the higher discipline. That's why I say that to be an Israelite, it is a responsibility. For us to be an Israelite, it's a responsibility. It's to accept the higher calling. That is why. It is not for us to be proud, no, but to accept higher calling. Remember that we left one master. There is no, as I said, there is no true freedom. No. Listen, he said, I said it. Say, we can, he said that, okay, thus, in truth, there is no absolute freedom. There is no freedom that is absolute. Only a choice of masters. Okay? We can serve the Holy One, blessed be He, and be free, or else serve a man and be enslaved. There is no absolute freedom. It is a message of a lie. It's a lie message. A message of Hasatan that tell you that you are absolutely free. No. I want to tell us there is no absolute freedom. No. There is a limited freedom. Not absolute. Because God called us to serve Him. And God gave us the Torah. The Torah is a yoke. Remember, Torah is a yoke. We have to carry it. We are able to carry it. And that's why God gave it to us. There is no absolute. Because the people of the world will tell you, come and God will set you absolutely free. That is a lie. Nothing like that in the Torah. It's a man's message. It's a message of the other side. It's a message of the other Torah. The dark one. Not the true Torah. There is no true, there is no absolute, there's no absolute freedom. You are serving, you are moving, God is taking us from the hand of the man and putting us in his own hand. Remember David Hamelech. David Hamelech, when God sent to him Nathan the prophet. Nathan Hanabi. Nathan told Nathan told David Hamelech, you have two choices. You either fall in the hand of God or you fall in the hand of a man. Choose. Both of them are not good. The judgment, the two judgment that God is giving him. Either I destroy the whole nation, or your son died. Both of them, it's not a good thing. But David said, Hamelech, I better fall in the hand of God than to fall in the hand of a man. Because man will never, ever, ever have mercy. But God will have mercy. You see, he was a smart man. He knew that, yes, I did what was wrong. I did evil. But if I cry to God and I confess my sin and I make teshuvah, God will accept me back. But man, you cry, he will even punish you more. The more you cry, the more he punish you. He's happy. You see, it's better to fall in the hand of God than in the hand of a man. So this is what the Torah is saying. There is nothing like absolute freedom. It's a limited freedom. God is taking us unto himself and is giving us the Torah for us to act like his own children, not like the children of the other side. So this is what the only one is talking about. Finally, before we go, so the minority survive. The minority takes the light of the Torah into their what? Into their house. And they begin to spread it among their children. And we are the descendants of those people. The people that survive. Remember, in many books of the prophecy, in the book of all the prophets, he said that as big, as mighty, as numerous as Israel is, only a few of them shall be saved at the end time. At the end time, only few Israelites will be saved. Majority of them, what happened in Egypt, and what exactly is going to happen again. Majority of them will be wiped out because of their own sin. Because they are too comfortable in America. They are very comfortable in the sin, in iniquity. They are very comfortable in Sodom and Gomorrah. They even promote Sodom and Gomorrah. They promote it. Hey, yay! They are happy. When Torah tells us the opposite, you do the other side. What about sometimes I'm sorry, sometimes it bothers my mind. Do these people, do they even read the Torah? But no, that is their own cup of tea. I can't blame them. They want to make fame. They want to make money. They want to make not everything in this world is money. No, but the truth. And the Torah is the truth. So So they survived the plague and they were redeemed. They survived the plague, and we are their descendants. Those are two of the lessons of this portion. Lesson that we will do well to learn ourselves. It is very important for us also to learn from this lesson individually and collectively. Right? As I said, the danger of assimilation. You should be very, very careful. The people of the world they want to entice you with a lot of things. Remember, it's not everything that shines. It's not everything that you see. The apple, the outside is nice. They say, it's like gold, it shine. But the inside is rotting. Then they give you, and you eat it, and you're in problem. They now say, okay, Papa, Mama, it's too late, Papa, Mama. Papa, Mama warned you. You say no. Papa, Mama is seeing your future. Papa, Mama say, don't marry this man, don't marry this woman. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. Hey, Mama, I love him. Mama, I love her. Oh, my heart jump. Okay. When the problem happens, it's going to be because we don't listen. Assimilation is dangerous. If the woman that you want to marry, you tell him, you tell her straight ahead, I am Hebrew. Are you ready to marry me and serve my God? We. Okay, good. If you say, don't waste my time. Go look at another person. You leave, because it will cause problem. It will always be a problem. In the future, it will be. I will try to convince her when the time comes. You try to rationalize. It is the devil that giving you want you to rationalize. Don't rationalize. No. If the woman begin to think like this, let her go. Don't worry, God will give you another one. If the man is doing like this too, let him go. God will give you another one. See, danger of assimilation. Parashah Bo. Shabbat Shalom.